Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rain, and today I'm going to be going through my August TBR. So we're gonna do this a couple different ways. I am a mood reader, so I don't stick to my TBR super closely, but this month I think I can. And the reason for that is I have a long list of books that I wanna read that I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna pull books from my TBR jar. So I think that with all of that, picking like 15 books or whatever I end up picking, I'm gonna be able to read through a lot of these books because all these books are gonna be books that I actively want to read. So let's just get started with the ones that I know I'm going to read. This one has nudity on the cover, so I'm covering that up. This one is The Awakening and Selected Stories by Kate Chopin. And this book, I don't know anything about. I'm gonna be recording a video that I'm not gonna go into right now, but this is one of the books that I'll be reading for that. This is another book I'll be reading for that, and that is Olga Dies Dreaming. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. That'll be for that too. Next is The Guncle by Stephen Rowley, and this book is about a gay uncle who I believe gains custody of his nieces and nephew because they lose their parents. So it's just about their story. It's wise and hilarious. So it sounds like fun, and I think it's gonna be a good time. Next is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This one is a fake dating scenario with a billionaire. Next, I don't know a whole lot about, but I know it's a cozy fantasy, and that is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. Next is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I read the first two books in this, not the first two books. I read two of the books in this series. There are 3 books so far. This is book number 2. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care. That is book number 1. And then I read Astrid Parker Doesn't Date. And that's book number 3. This is number 2. I read out of order just because I went to an indie bookstore in town and I picked up book number 3. Fell absolutely in love with it. It was a 5-star read. So I picked up the other 2 and I'm excited to read this one. I've just been waiting for the audiobook to become available on Libby, but as soon as it does, I guarantee you I'm reading this month. Next is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. Has beautiful sprayed edges. This book is a book that has been recommended to me if I like Legends and Lattes, and Legends and Lattes is one of my favorite books I've ever read. So I think it's a sapphic romance that instead of coffee, there's tea involved, like a tea shop. So I'm excited to read it. I wonder if it's gonna be too much like Legends and Lattes, like if it's not gonna be a super original idea. But I'm hopeful they go somewhere different with it. Next is The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This book is about a world in which they know when they're going to die, or you at least can know when you're going to die. Some people choose to know, some people choose not to, and that impacts the rest of their life, of course. So next book I'm going to read on my Kindle is going to be Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I do have a physical copy, but I have it more as a trophy because I don't want to ruin it. They're so pretty. I am currently rereading Fourth Wing, so I can guarantee you I'm reading Iron Flame this month. I'm rereading Fourth Wing to refresh my memory to read Iron Flame, so Iron Flame is probably the next book I'm going to read. Next, I want to read The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. I love this cover. I think this book involves some magical realism where you know where the books have been because there's some kind of like imprint on the books. Next, I have 2 cozy fantasy reads. The next is Arrival Most Vile by R.K. Ashwick. And this book I got recommended to me off of TikTok, and I follow this influencer that exclusively recommends cozy fantasy, and it's my favorite genre. So I'm looking forward to that. Next is Keeper of Enchanted Rooms by Charlie N. Holmberg. This, I believe, is about a mansion where the house kind of comes alive and has a mind of its own, is sentient in a way. Next is another cozy fantasy called A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner. And I think this is just about magical bakers, and that sounds so cute to me. So those are all the books that I actively want to read in the month of August / know I'm going to read in the month of August. Now let's dive into the TBR jar and pick some extras. So I have even more options. Mix this bad boy up. Okay, let's see. A book you think you will rate 5 stars. Ooh, okay, I like this prompt. Let's see. I am going to have to say Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is a cozy fantasy book, but I think has higher stakes than some others. I have this one on my Kindle. This is the beautiful cover. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one. I could see me rating that 5 stars. Numero dos. A childhood favorite. Aww, okay. I know exactly what I'm gonna pick. This is our poetry shelf, and then we have some nonfiction over here. It's not a lot, but this is our poetry. And I am gonna go with Falling Up by Shel Silverstein. This book is what really engaged me as a reader when I was a kid. I had a hard time reading physical books when I was a kid. I had a difficult time with reading comprehension. These poems are incredibly short and they have illustrations to them. So I enjoyed this book, like genuinely enjoyed this book when I was younger. So that is an absolute childhood favorite. And I am excited to reread that. A book you've had for a long time. I'm gonna pull my TBR card over here. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna pick. That would be Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've had this quite a while. It's been on my TBR for maybe the longest out of any of these books, or one of the longest. So I am gonna go with Powerless. Okay, I'm gonna pick 2 more, and then I think that's gonna be plenty. That's gonna be like 15 to 20 books. A genre you don't typically read. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Maybe let's go with like a literary fiction. Okay, let's do The Minuscule Mansion of Myra Malone by Audrey Burgess. This book is a fantasy, but it's also, I think, literary fiction. So literary fiction is outside of my typical comfort zone. So I think that is a good choice for me. Okay, last one. A book that scares you. Are you kidding me? Okay. This one I also could have picked for a book that's outside of my normal genre, but that has to be The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I am so scared to read this book, you guys. Like, historical fiction is not my genre, and it bores me usually. It's a chonker, and I know that people love this. Like, this is some people's Roman Empire, and I'm afraid of the hype. You know, I'm afraid that it's not gonna live up to it for me. So those are my picks for August. I have probably at least 5 books on my Kindle, and then I have, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17 books in total, if that's correct. If I have 5 on my Kindle, I don't know if I do, something like that. 15 to 17 books to choose from, which I think is really good because I'll probably read about 8 to 10. So this gives me a really good opportunity to mood read, which is what I need to do. I realized that picking a typical TBR just isn't for me because I mood read and I wasn't sticking to my TBR at all because I just picked up whatever I wanted. So if I have a ton of options, then I'm way more likely to actually get to my TBR. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me what book you have on your August TBR that you know you're going to get to for sure, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.